we're gonna learn about white tender queers. Tender queers.
Like the dating app?
Like soft and tender.
Oh, like feeding meat?
The term tenderqueer has come into my vernacular recently, and I love it.
Why do they all always look like that? Why did you grab a sharp object?
This is how she did her hair. I'm not gonna actually do it.
She walked in the barbershop, she said,
and
it was that barber that says, what are your pronouns?
Yeah.
Can I touch your hair?
My pronouns are me up.
Hey guys, welcome back to Normal Gays, where we take on LGBT insanity. I'm Brad Polumbo, here with Clarkson Lawson.
What's up, guys? Before we get started, we are going to be showing you guys some offensive reels.
And if you laugh, you are racist, sexist.
Yes.
What's that list?
They're all done by AI.
Pay me reparations,
so we're actually,
or you are my oppressor.
What is it? What is it that they say AI is doing to the environment?
I don't care.
I don't really care either. This episode is sponsored by Flint, Michigan.
Climate change. Anyway, we have some fun stuff. We're going to learn about white tender queers.
You want to say that again?
Tender queers.
Like the dating app?
What's that?
Like white tender.
The information we have gathered is incomplete and confusing.
Tender, like soft and tender.
Oh, like beating meat to make it tender?
That's where your mind went.
Yeah, with the little machine.
Beating meat. Sus as hell. You're into weird.
What can you do with a spray bottle?
I don't want to know. I'm sure you'll find the usage. I'm not the one who's coming up
with ideas. You are. He just outed himself.
Anyway, we're going to be educated by a woke woman on TikTok.
Oh, this will be fun.
Yeah. So fun. Can't you see how fun it is here?
Yeah, totally, yeah.
The term tenderqueer has come into my vernacular recently, and I love it.
Why do they all always look like that?
I'm going to tell you guys. I'm not a hairstylist.
Why did you grab a sharp object?
But this is how she did her hair. I'm not going to actually do it.
She walked in the barbershop, she said,
and
it was that barber that says, what are your pronouns?
Yeah.
Can I touch your hair?
My pronouns are me up, because that's what she did. She you up. And I don't like to attack people's like genetics because you can't really control that. But I will attack the way people look if that look is a choice.
If it's self-inflicted, it's fair game.
Yeah, and those bangs, well, I don't even want to use plural because there's like three separations of bangs.
We need to learn about being white tender queers and white fragility.
It involves bangs.
We're starting over.
Oh, okay.
Listen.
I'm listening.
I get the spray bottle.
The term tenderqueer has come into my vernacular recently, and I love it because I think it explains so much of mine and other people that I love and care for's frustration with our community at the moment, where we're like actively in the community, like trying to get the water out of the sinking ship, and there are people in the community that are not helping, but instead standing there and being like, I'm kind of getting sunburned.
That's us.
That's how it feels. I can understand my own
Wait,
people
what did she
in the
just say?
community
Let's go
that
back.
are not helping, but instead standing there and being like, I'm kind of getting sunburned. That's how it feels. I can understand my own privilege. I am a white person in America. That is a privilege. I have a warm bed to sleep in at night. That is a privilege. I am a cis-passing person. Even though I'm non-binary. People are viewing me.
Oh my God. I could have put money on this.
Oh my gosh.
Those bangs are not making you look non-binary, girl. They're making you look mentally challenged.
Say you're not.
You look like a 6-year-old girl who allowed her sister to play dress up with scissors. That's not non-binary. Even if I don't believe in non-binary, but when I see non-binary, I can call it out. This is not, you're not giving androgynous.
I love this idea. I'm cis-passing even though I'm non-binary. As if those are two, like, inconsistent.
I'm just so, I bet you she's actually I don't know if she's
dates
lesbian,
men.
but she probably dates men.
But she's like pan, but then just dates men.
And like she kisses girls when she gets drunk at the club. And she's like, I'm so queer.
Also, can we talk about this idea that it is a privilege to have a warm place to sleep?
It is a privilege.
How?
I think that's
maybe on a global scale that people are born into poverty.
Well, I think you should always
acknowledge.
I think that acknowledging that as a privilege is really good for keeping yourself humble.
But is it a privilege if you work and earn it and purchase it yourself? What's the privilege?
Yes, because in the grand scheme of just humanity as a whole, maybe not present day, but if you look at it as a whole, I think that we live in very privileged times as humans.
I associate the word privilege with something unearned, right? Like white privilege is the idea that you get unfair advantages in society for being white. Whereas like the reason I have a warm place to sleep and a roof over my head is because I work.
Get your
up and work.
And I pay for it.
Yeah, but I think that
And
being able to work is a privilege.
is it not just the default state of human existence?
Yeah, well, survival of the fittest, but some people don't survive it, so it's still a privilege.
I guess we're all privileged to be Americans and have opportunity.
I think it's a privilege to breathe air. I
Okay,
do.
but then privilege becomes kind of meaninglessness because almost
No,
every...
no, it doesn't. It becomes a matter of perspective.
You're just so Buddhist and Zen. You're like, we all could be ants.
Well,
on the
if you start
leaf.
gatekeeping what privilege means, then you limit your perspective in choosing the positive one in a lot of life situations. Calling what I call privilege allows you to humble yourself when you become very privileged.
Like she almost certainly is.
Yes.
Me as straight and as a woman all the time. As frustrating as that might be
Wait, did she?
for me,
switch to
because
woman?
of course what I love,
No, she said people see her as a woman.
Oh, as they see you as straight because they see
They
with
see
your
you as
boyfriend.
a unhinged woman who shouldn't be given scissors.
They see you with your boyfriend, and then they go.
And she's
that's
like,
a straight
it's
woman."
so offensive. I get called straight and perceived as a woman as I'm a woman walking down the street with my boyfriend.
If you don't want your privilege, shave your head,
Well-
and then you can look androgynous.
And why don't you fix your hair and fix your face and your body and everything else?
That would get rid of your woman. Well, you'd still look like a woman.
You're still gonna look like a woman.
I don't know.
of everyone to know I'm a lesbian right off the bat. Sure.
Oh, she's a
But
lesbian.
in the assimilation to the straight whiteness, I am afforded privilege where other people are not. So what I can do, instead of complaining about the fact that I'm not being seen, is I can use that privilege to help keep other people who don't have it safe in my community. That takes nothing away from me.
I would love to hear one meaningful example of how she's using her white, straight, cis-passing privilege to make other people safe in her
They really
community.
think that getting on TikTok and ranting
Is
is a
activism.
form of activism. How often do you go to the soup kitchen every week, Miss Bang?
Promise you it's 0 times.
Please prove me wrong. Make a
What
video and
percentage
stitch
of
us.
your paycheck do you donate to the needy?
That would be using your warm bed as a privilege, is opening it up to other people. But I mean, I don't know this girl, but I'm
This
just gonna
them.
assume. Oh, sorry, it.
Instead of looking at it as a negative, of like, I'm being erased, I'm not being seen, I'm looking at my privilege as a benefit in order to use it to help people, right? And also, if you know you have privilege, you are understanding and recognizing that, talking about that to other people that have privilege, making them aware of how their privilege affects their
knew
life
it.
and affects how they can go out into the world, is going to make the community better.
Sure, Jan.
I love how they always refer to their form of activism as educating other people. It is literally all they do is yap, and they really think that they're Jesus Christ.
They really do think they're Gandhi because they make TikTok videos.
I educate people about their privilege.
Wait, so she never actually explained what that term. What was the term? I forgot it.
White tender queers. What I find funny about what she's had to say here is like she suggested that lecturing other people about their privilege is helping to make the community better.
I wonder if she's like volunteered at a transgender shelter.
Mm-mm.
Like a lot of transgender people are homeless. They go into sex work and then they get old and then they get into drugs. Have you helped any of them?
And the funny thing about this is this content, screechy white women lecturing people about cis-passing privilege and all this literally makes anyone homophobic and transphobic.
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
I still don't believe her that she's a lesbian, but whatever. I'm gonna.
You want to see
invalidate-
proof? I don't.
I don't know.
Yeah, so let's watch her follow-up video she made.
Oh, she made another one.
Well, she got a lot of heat for this video.
She did?
Yeah.
Oh, the world's healing.
Nature is healing. Yes.
I'm gonna guess what she's gonna say. I was trying to bring to light problems within our community and use my privilege as a way to help others. And some people are so fragile in their identity that they can't even recognize their own privilege, and now they want to attack me.
In an effort to try to beg my white queers to decenter themselves from the conversation at any point, I have been left with so many comments on a video I posted the other day, clearly misinterpreting the point of what I'm saying.
Can I just pause on 2 things?
I was right.
You were, of course you were. Also, why
Say
do
that
we
again.
refer to people as, no,
That's my turn on.
ew.
I am disgusted.
Why do we refer to people as like white queers? Like this is so dehumanizing. Black gays.
Yeah.
Asian lesbians. Like, we are not these big groups of blocks
That's
of
the
people.
point I was gonna make. When she got excited about in the first video, she was like, I love this term, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, why are you guys so excited to label yourself? It's so weird.
Because they have no personality.
Well, the thing is like humans have like a need for group connection because that's just how we evolved. We only succeeded because we were in groups. But I feel like it's gotten to a point where people are not finding that in their community, so they have to find it online. And when you find it online, it has to be like something like this because these are the identity groups that are
has to be
searchable.
hashtagable.
Yeah.
I'm drama seeking, right? I started drama. I just want attention.
So like she's getting so excited because she found another community to join, which is a very human response, but the community is based on bull. So maybe like, I don't know, go to the homeless shelter and help them. That's a community you can join if you're that desperate. What is a white Tinder queer?
I love these follow-up videos. It's always our fault for misinterpreting them, not
Never
their
her
fault for making no sense.
And also, it's worth noting that her whole shtick of activism is yapping. And we still didn't understand what you were saying. So instead of going back to the drawing board,
one job.
you literally have one job as a so-called activist, and you're doing it piss poorly. So why?
We just misinterpreted her.
Yes.
Because I have had people say in my comments that it's not nice of me to tell people in the community that are more privileged to sit down and shut up. Nowhere in my video did I tell you to sit down or shut up.
No, you told us to lecture other privileged people about their privilege, which is worse.
I bet you she's policing. Probably, I doubt she's friends with like Trump supporters.
No.
I doubt she's friends with homophobes.
Preaching to people.
She's
converting
preaching. Yeah,
people?
she's
No.
probably in some big city surrounded by buzz-haired
Other non-binary girls.
with their slit in their eyebrows because they think that makes them look masculine. She's probably surrounded by those types. And the minute they like accidentally say something human, she's like, microaggression. And that's her form of activism.
Microaggression.
I am truly viewing us as if we are in a room together as a community.
That room would reek.
So yes, when there are people that are facing more life-threatening issues than you just not feeling queer enough, me telling you that we need to prioritize listening to those people as a whole is not me telling you to sit down and shut up. It's me telling you in this moment, you're not number one on the call sheet.
I wonder how often she talks about Arab countries and those life-threatening conditions for gay people.
No, the life-threatening conditions in America. These people are still in a time capsule in 2020 when anybody was entertaining any of this nonsense. But they don't understand that, like...
God, 2020 was scary.
Dude.
Like, that stuff was crazy. That was the Twilight Zone.
But the thing is, it's not fully gone away. It's still enshrined into policy in a lot of places. Then there's these pockets of society that are still trapped in this mindset.
It's like identity shattering. You know what I mean? Like if you build who you are on it, you have to completely go back to the drawing board to figure out there's too much ego in the way. That's why cults are successful.
Well, and somebody made an interesting point about why some people will defend transitioning kids forever, because once they transition their kid, or once they're a doctor and they perform these procedures on minors,
to justify it.
If the barrier to realizing that that was wrong and a mistake is so high, mentally, you would have to realize that you did something terrible and not supported by the evidence to a child that they couldn't truly consent or understand to. And like the psychological barrier there for people is going to prevent most people from doing it.
It's cognitive dissonance.
That's human.
I mean,
that's
that
normal.
happens with politics too. Like, I luckily came out of mine when it came to my political beliefs, but that was like earth shattering because I felt like I completely lost my identity. But I cared more about the truth than my own biases. But many people can't do that.
And your privilege.
And my privilege.
You guys let us know what you think. Do you also want to say a slur after viewing that video? Let us know in the comments. Make sure to subscribe if you aren't yet. Hit the like button, become a channel member.
Yeah.
And we'll be back with more Normal Gays real soon.